Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. More concerns over PEP exams and impact on students. Met Service lifts flash flood watch but issues caution to fishers at sea. And later in sports, new Reggae Boys head coach appears confident ahead of first game against Cuba on Friday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. We begin this afternoon with news from the education sector. Stakeholders are not on the same page about what should be the future for the primary exit profile PEP. The placement exam has delivered mixed results in the few years since its implementation. Halshane Burke explains.
The views of educators about the primary exit profile PEP exams are not aligning. JTA President Dr. Mark Smith has called for a review of how examinations such as PEP are administered to ensure students maintain an interest in education. But that call has not gained favour with President of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, JAPS, Linvan Wright.
The view that it's our exams that we have a problem with, to me, is like an obese person saying, oh, his problem is with the scale. The scale is just a measure. The exam is just a measure of where the students are. I think what we need to do is spend better time looking into the kinds of things that go into curriculum. So what is the level of preparedness? How much are we spending? What is the level of diagnostic work and targeted teaching taking place?
He says what needs to be done is to find out what has stopped the nation's children from learning post-COVID.
If we keep on talking about the results, rather than the inputs and break down the inputs, into, okay, teacher quality, is that a problem? Is it that, and it's not about blaming anybody. It is identifying the problem and solving the problem because we have properly identified it. Is it that the schools don't have enough resources to deal with the kind of targeted teaching needed?
He went further.
What's the magnitude of the work to match the magnitude of the problem? Is it that it's just token, so the ministry is saying that something is happening, or it is that we have identified the scale of the problem and the scale of the solution even far exceeds the scale of the problem, so we can solve it properly? That is where I think we need to be looking at. I think this thing, every time we talk about exams, when CXC comes out, there is an emotional response to education that we need to move away from and look now, because education has a science to it. It has a science to it. But sometimes because we don't pay attention to it, then we have a problem.
Earlier this week, the Education Ministry stated that the primary exit profile is not intended to bring added stress to students, but to test their level of performance in preparation for higher level education. Halshane Burke, TVJ News.
Put politics aside. That assertion from Member of Parliament for Western St. Thomas, James Robertson. His comment follows recent pronouncements by Principal of Yalis, Mark Malabva, about the school's readiness for the new academic year. Last week, Mr. Malabva said that the full reopening of the institution on September 2 was in doubt. But during a tour of Yalis High on Monday, Mr. Robertson responded.
The last time I visited the school and had a tour was after we had a earthquake, and I did see issues. And at that time, some were being addressed, some more have been addressed, but a lot more has to be done. As Member of Parliament, there's no way I would not say that. But late last week, when I saw the principal speaking negatively and using the word doubtful, or the media quoting him as such, because I wasn't present, I decided first thing this Monday morning.
The Meteorological Service has discontinued the flash flood watch for low-lying and flood-prone areas of all parishes with immediate effect. The tropical wave is moving westward and away from Jamaica while slowly weakening, and the associated area of showers and thunderstorms continue to decrease. Rainfall reports indicate that only a few light showers occurred across eastern parishes last night. The forecast for Thursday is for mostly cloudy skies and widely scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms for western parishes and some hilly areas. Additionally, the Met Service says strong winds are expected across southern parishes. However, it warned that fishers and other marine interests, especially those on the south coast, should continue to exercise caution as strong winds are expected to prevail into this afternoon. The Westmoreland police are investigating the murder of 2 teens in the parish Wednesday afternoon. The deceased have been identified as 18-year-old Ramesh O'Connor and 15-year-old Jail J. Tomlinson, both of Westmoreland addresses. According to reports, sometime after 3 o'clock, the teens were among 4 persons traveling on 2 motorcycles from Hanover to Westmoreland when they stopped at a nightclub seeking shelter from the rain. It's understood that they were pounced upon by a gunman who opened fire on them. The police were alerted, and upon arrival, Ramesh and Jail J's bodies were seen lying face down. A 3rd person was seen suffering from bullet wounds and was rushed to hospital. The 4th person, a female, escaped unharmed. No motive has been established for the killings. The once quiet parish of Manchester is now battling a crime wave. This as police personnel in the South Central Parish have been kept busy due to a number of shooting incidents over the last 48 hours. The latest was in Christiana. Nakinski Robinson has the details.
The Manchester Police have imposed a 48-hour curfew in Mayday, Barnstable and surrounding areas. This security response follows a double murder Tuesday night. The measure came into effect at 6 p.m. Wednesday and will end at 6 p.m. Friday. But while that measure is in place to contain criminal acts in one area, criminals are struck in another, this time in Christiana. Reports are that around 7:50 Wednesday evening, Romario White was inside a bar when a man entered, pulled a gun from his waistband and shot him, then escaped. Mr. White, 29, was subsequently taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Family members say White, who was a carpenter, would have celebrated his 30th birthday next week. Now, Councillor for the neighbouring Walterston Division, David Knight, has condemned the shooting.
I am really concerned of the shootings and the criminal activities, the murders that is taking place in Manchester. And just now we have a new one in the Christiana division, very close to the police station. Somebody went into a bar and just shoot, and it was just meters away from the police station. And it's saying that these criminals, they have no heart. They will go anywhere for you.
White's murder was recorded just under 24 hours after 3 men were shot, 2 fatally, at a bar in Lower Albion District, Mandeville. Earlier on Wednesday, 1 man was shot and wounded by a private security company. It's reported that personnel from the security company responded to a call about a break-in at Kingsland Meadows in the parish around 3 o'clock Wednesday morning when the suspect was shot. This is the 3rd case in which an alleged intruder was shot in the last 2 weeks in the parish. Housebreaking has been a constant challenge for the Manchester Police over the years. The police reported a decline in recent years, but reports from homeowners whose houses have been broken into suggest that category of crime may be on the rise again. Based on our investigations, some persons have vacated their homes due to the trauma associated with the experience. Nakinski Robinson, TVJ News.
Head of the Area 5 Police, Acting Commissioner of Police, Christopher Phillips, has again warned youngsters against joining gangs, even as he points to challenges with investigating gangsters. He was speaking at the recent closing ceremony of a police program targeting students with behavioral issues in St. Catharines South, where the police pointed out how the youngsters also help them understand certain online illegal activities. Krista Campbell has more in this report.
I don't let what made me come here determine what I'm going to leave with.
Bridgeport High School student Shauna Lee Martin on the benefits of a police program targeting students with behavioral issues. The initiative, which is in its 3rd year, was extended from 1 to 2 weeks this summer, with youngsters from various schools across the South St. Catherine Police Division exposed to a range of issues and professions, to include child protection, dispute resolution, the fire service, and Jamaica Defence Force.
The one report from Cumberland, either one of our students was the only student that was referred to do City and Guild exam, and he's doing well since his participation in this program.
Before I joined, I struggle with being misunderstood and lack of direction, which often lead to problems in school and at home. The program didn't just focus on correcting my behavior. It helped me to understand the root of the cause and the actions, and provide me with particular tools to manage my emotions and responses.
The lessons we've learned extend far beyond textbooks. We've discovered the importance of discipline, respect, and responsibility.
And noting the increased gang recruitment in schools, the head of the Area 5 Police has again cautioned youngsters against joining gangs.
Gang investigation is a tedious one that requires very witty investigators. And so there are obvious gaps to be filled.
Now, for all the youngsters say they have learned from the summer program, the police explain they have also benefited.
We learn about the activities that they do online. We learn about all the online rooms that they engage in for the chopping, the scamming. When we go into other schools or parent-teachers meeting, we do presentations from time to time with different school groups and in different sessions. We'll be able to impart what we learn from this group and to highlight to the parents what they really need to look out for.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Residents of Green Pond and Cornwall Courts were left in high spirits over the weekend as a new bridge at Farm Crossroads in St. James was unveiled the day before the school year began. The new bridge replaces one that was damaged by Hurricane Beryl. Mayor Richard Vernon expressed satisfaction at meeting the deadline, while residents welcomed the improved access and reduced travel costs.
We committed to a bridge in 8 weeks and for it to be reopened before the start of school. That was done. Promise made, promise delivered.
Feel very good, man, because going through Portobello and them places there was very rough bridging, and I like what's happening right here, right now.
It's a greatness towards the people, you know, because even the local time and the local tragic gone, the people them suffer a lot. Because taxi driver them take extra fare to carry the people them way around so and thing there. And it's a greatness because we should have get this from before.
In the meantime, the municipal corporation enhanced the area with new sidewalks and disability access. Councillor Gregory Harris assured that the new bridge is being built to be more resilient and includes improved drainage to prevent future damage. A St. Catherine woman died in a motor vehicle crash this morning. Reports are that Marlene Mo Young was hit after she stepped into the pathway of a moving vehicle along the Port Henderson Main Road in St. Catherine early this morning. The police say about 5:20 a taxi operator was driving a white Toyota Probox motor car in a westerly direction along the main road. Upon reaching a section of the roadway, Miss Mo Young ran from a structure into the path of the car. She was hit and fell along the roadway where she succumbed to her injuries. And it's now time for the Business Minute.
There was a 42% drop in the number of point-of-sale terminals in Jamaica last year compared to 2022. The Economic and Social Survey of Jamaica, published by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, says there were 28,899 machines operational. The survey says the fewer machines were as a result of a number of disruptions, including destruction of machines and theft, which affected service delivery. As for automated banking machines, there were 908 operational under the Multilink Terminal Network in 2023. This was one less machine compared to 2022. The PIOJ says ABMs installed by deposit-taking institutions, which also form part of the Multilink system, increased by 5.1%. There were 866 of these ABMs. Two regulators are calling for an investigation into Shein and Temu. Consumer Product Safety Commissioners Peter Feldman and Douglas Ziak allege potentially, quote, deadly baby and toddler products. They cite an article in The Information last month that makes the accusations. It alleges the foreign-owned bargain sites might be selling products that don't comply with US safety regulations. Temu and Shein did not immediately return requests for comment. For the Business Minute, I'm Hal Shane Burke.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, public school teachers in Antigua and Barbuda are set to take industrial action if they fail to receive retroactive upgrade payments. The move would impact children across the country just 3 days into the new school year. Negotiations were taking place over the long-requested reclassification of salaries, but the payments and upgrades due for the period 2019 to 2021 have yet to be settled. According to a memo from the Teachers Union, both the Education and Finance Ministries have failed to address the outstanding payments. On the international scene, Olympic athlete Rebecca Cheptegei has died days after being doused in petrol and set on fire by a former boyfriend. The 33-year-old Ugandan marathon runner who competed in the recent Paris Olympics had suffered extensive burns after Sunday's attack. The authorities in northwest Kenya said she was targeted after returning home from church with her 2 daughters. And investigators in Georgia on Thursday sought to piece together how a teenager obtained the assault rifle he used to carry out a mass shooting at his school and whether there were any additional warning signs after authorities visited his home a year ago. The student, identified as a 14-year-old Colt Gray, opened fire on Wednesday with an AR platform-style weapon at Appalachia High School in Georgia, killing 2 students and 2 teachers and wounding 9. The teen was interviewed by law enforcement last year after he made online threats about carrying out a school shooting. His father, who was also interviewed, told officials he had hunting guns in the house, but his son did not have access to them. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Nikinsky Robinson.
And we head to a quick break. When we return, we'll have your midday sports report.